So, hi everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Anoni. As you all know, this is the podcast that brings you pop culture discussions by resident nerds. So, I am Kazuki, and my co host is Ai. Today, we'll be continuing our topic on D&D, and we'll be discussing a few items, such as D&D combat, multi-classing, background stories, abilities and stats, must have and dumped stats, min maxing, utility builds, favorite spells, um, favorite class, race, and feat. If we have a server that we like, and a server that we'd like to recommend for playing D&D, West March versus home games, D&D during the pandemic, D&D items and feats you would like to have IRL, and what's next for your character, life after level 20. So let's start off with let's see, D&D combat. So what do you think about D&D combat in general? Your experience with D&D combat in general?
Probably it's very different for each version, especially from 3.5 and 5e. What exactly do we want to talk about there? Because the combat is very different. On 3.5, there are tables you could roll on effects for your attack, and
So
we don't usually have that for 5e.
yeah, so for 5e we do have let's talk about how combat starts usually. So we do roll our dice for initiative, right? And then
That's true.
it goes from there, and we each character takes turns depending on their order, on their initiative order.
hmm
And the monsters and enemies are also do their roles and are included in the initiative. So how different? So you said like 3.5 is different from 5e, and 5e is more streamlined. So what are the differences when it comes to attacks, damages, those
Yeah,
kinds of
basically,
things?
for the mechanics, basic mechanics are the same. You still have initiatives, attacks, modifiers. It's just that for 3.5, the modifiers are much lower, and the AC is much higher. So there's that. For 5e, I have like a plus 17 to hit. That's not gonna happen in 5e. So
In
the most you're gonna
3.5, you
get
mean?
is like, yeah, on 3.5.
Yeah.
Probably you're
So,
gonna most gonna get is plus 3 plus 5.
wow. At level 20?
At level,
Or
even
like,
at level 20. At
oh,
mid
wow.
levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the damage the same or different?
The
Or,
damage HP on 3.5 is much higher than 5e.
mm,
Yeah.
and you did these are higher?
Yeah.
Okay, so for combat, which fighting style do you prefer? Do you like to be in melee or do you prefer range? Because I know you have a ranger character and you also have Hao, who uses a bow.
That's true. Yeah, so mostly I prefer fighting up front on melee range, but uh depends on it really depends on what my party consists of. So I like to be a very versatile character for my D&D. I used to have a monk, but I also use a throwing knives for that monk because I just don't want to depend on that melee attack. And once the enemy gets farther away from me, I could not do anything else.
Yeah, that's true. I do the same for Emrys. I do have my main bow, and then I have either a rapier or the two swords, the daggers, or another bladed weapon, just in case. I mean, I
Yeah,
could always take, ranged fighters could always take the bow expert feat, I think. I would let them just shoot
Mm-hmm.
at close distance, but I mean,
Yeah, without the
having a dagger also
disadvantage.
works. Yeah, having
Yeah,
a dagger also works.
I actually think about it if I'm gonna get the crossbow feat, but the thing is that I don't have a crossbow for how, and I'd rather have a melee weapon and a shield. So right now, that's what I'm trying to invest in. I have a Verfall sword, and I'm just trying to get a good shield.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, Vorpal sword.
Yep.
I think every fighter that has it um is pretty OP. And then once you, yeah, it's pretty cool weapon.
Yeah. There's a chance you could just get up ahead once you attack.
There's also a chance you could turn on your own party, like,
That's true. Also,
and that has happened. That has happened. So yeah.
I think on the older versions of it, I hear someone that they actually use a Verfall sword to cut off a limb of a party member. That happened. Yeah, it's pretty sharp, by the way.
Yeah, all those magical items.
Yeah,
We want to have them all.
yeah.
So, speaking of combat, what's your favorite class or race and feat, if you may?
Yeah, favorite race would be High Elf for some reason. I don't know why I like them, but they're dicks. In any form of media, they are those persons who are pretty much dicks. Yeah. Yeah.
Like super high,
Yeah.
snobby. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. But I also like Dragonborn. Yeah.
Oh, Dragonborn. I
Dragonborn,
haven't
yeah.
thought about playing Dragonborn.
Yeah. Because I used to think that Dragonborn and the Dragonkin are the same. So if you're Dragonborn,
Dragonkin.
yeah. Yeah, it's a different race. Basically, if you're a Dragonkin, you are a mix of a dragon and a different species. So you could be a humanoid or other race. So the difference between a dragonborn and a humanoid dragonkin would be they have tails actually. So dragonborns don't have tails.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Favorite class?
Favorite class? Sorcerer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sorcerer.
Why a sorcerer?
Sorcerer, yeah, it's very utility. Basically, could just do anything with sorcerer. And yeah, it's a pain on the lower levels because you are just that easy target and you can't take hit much of. You don't have the
AC is
the
slow.
HP, yeah.
Yeah.
But on higher levels, they just nuke.
Yeah,
That's
true.
They just nuke enemies. Yeah.
They're always like formidable at higher levels, and it's almost like.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion? Which would be more powerful, like spellcasters or martial?
I mean, they have their own pros and cons, but on a like against an enemy with higher numbers, spellcasters would be much more effective. But on a one-on-one scenario or like a just a fewer numbers, martial characters would take the upper hand.
I think for me, I like for races. I don't know why I prefer half elves and humans, variant humans. Maybe because of the extra feet. Yeah, and favorite class, most likely rogue and warlock because I'm not really that adept with spell casting, and warlocks are easier to play, I guess, for me since I've had experience with them. But I'm trying to get into sorcerers as well. What about favorite feats or
Favorite feats? I don't know. Probably Mage Hand. Mage Hand.
Mage Hand as a feat?
Mage Hand is a feat. Oh no,
Really?
that's a cantrip. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a cantrip. For feat, I don't know.
Lucky sharpshooter? No,
Lucky is just for halfling, I believe.
no. I think anyone can have lucky. But if
No,
you're if you're
I'm
if
not sure.
you're
I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure about
because
that.
yeah, because Emrys has lucky, and it has saved me several times. Every time I roll badly, and that's almost every game. Yeah, lucky. I like lucky. So, but what about
Is
element
lucky open to
accuracy?
all races? I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, you can have lucky, and then halflings. I think they also have like that ability, like a lucky ability.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure. Hmm. Maybe I should look into that. Yeah,
Yeah, I know it
yeah.
is, but what feats does How have?
How only get one feat, which is sharpshooter, which is yeah. How was built to be a in fighter, melee in fighter,
Mm-hmm.
but during the mid levels, he was converted into a mainly range archer. So that's why I went to the champion route for How. Yeah.
Mm.
So he only got one feat, which is sharpshooter, and yeah,
And then the rest you invested into ASIs.
ASI, yeah, ASI.
That
Because the
makes
main goal
sense.
for How is to take up damage, to be a sponge for damage.
Mm. So high con.
High con, high strength. Yeah.
I didn't think of that. I think that's kind of like rare to see somebody just taking one feat. I've seen more people take on multiple feats over ASIs, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feats are very useful, but um, if I really think about it, if I want to be an in fighter, I don't really need that much feat because all I'm gonna do is start a fight, stay there as much as possible, and then prevent enemies from reaching my party members. So yeah, that's
That's
the main
true.
role. Yeah.
So what about the tough feat? You didn't think about taking it?
I
Like,
was I yeah I was thinking if I'm gonna get a tough feat, but at that point I started putting more of my ability scores to dexterity. So yeah, I just forgo the tough feat and just stick with the SI. So that yeah, I'm planning to reach a 20 ability scores for How at that point when I was thinking to get the tough feat. Yeah, but I
mm,
did not get it.
but still, he's pretty hard to like hit anyway since he's range. Unless,
Yeah.
spells and saves.
Oh yeah. Well,
Hmm.
spells, that's basically his weakness.
But you have magical items for it, right? You have what's that? Is it a
It's
cloak
not
or a mantle? It's not allowed.
it's a mantle of
Spell
magic
resistance, I think.
resistance, a spell resistance, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not that effective. I'm
Mm.
still vulnerable to domination and
But well, thankfully there's a lot of other characters that are like easy targets. So unless it's an AoE spell.
yeah, well, it's it's a one it's a one weakness that I have, but it's a major weakness
Yeah.
that I almost killed most of my party members at least
Yeah, I
three
think I
times now.
remember when you were like, was it charmed? No, was it? No, it's not charmed
It
because
it
it
was
can't be charmed.
domination.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
domination. Yeah.
yeah. Now that with Vorpal Sword, that's scary. I think the party members would be not, not as comfortable going with anybody ever since Red decapitated Sakura on their
Oh,
mission with her Vorpal Sword. Yeah,
that
Red
happened.
did. Yeah, that happened. But thankfully, Sakura had a clone. And I think that's at that point, Red decided to just forget about the Vorpal sword. She hasn't picked it up since.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. But that's just one of those things that can happen. I mean, but thankfully, if everybody could, if everybody could get out of house range at least, or find cover, which is kind of hard because it's kind of hard with sharpshooter. So that's yeah, yeah. Maybe put up a wall of force or something else, counter
Yeah.
a spell or dispel the just target the enemy and take them down so that the spell would go away.
I
Yeah,
mean, if the DM really wants to, they could just dominate how and then just kill everyone in the
that's
party.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. And our DMs have been very merciful.
Yeah, that's true.
So speaking of last, so how is full fighter, right?
Yeah, a champion fallen fighter. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about multi-classing him, or multi-classing characters? Like,
Yeah,
have you had
right now
any?
I have a warlock and a sorcerer. Um yeah. So the idea for that is that to supplement the lack of um spell slots for the warlock
Mm-hmm.
by sorcerer points. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
didn't.
yeah.
I didn't really understand how spell slots work with when multi-classing spellcasters. So I also have a warlock sorcerer character, but still low level. So I'm still learning the
Mhm.
whole which spell slots to use and all that. So
Yeah.
it's tricky. But yeah, it's
It's my
pretty
first time
effective.
actually trying to play warlock.
Oh,
So yeah. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out because a friend of mine told me that warlock would be useless if they are pure warlock. So that's why I multi-class it with a sorcerer to
mm-hmm.
supplement that lack of spell slots.
Yeah, yeah. And sorcerers have a lot of other really good spells, and they do share the same spell attack modifier. I think they go off
Yeah, that's true.
charisma. They're charisma based,
They
so
both go in
it works.
charisma. Yeah, yeah. So in the higher levels, the Eldritch Blast should be dealing more damage because of one of the sorcerer feats. I forgot which one, but um, there's an ability or a feat for it that you could add your charisma modifier an ability score on your Eldritch Blast because of the sorcerer feat. Forgot about it. Yeah, but that's the one of the reasons why I choose to multi-class with sorcerer.
Yeah, say the line.
Yeah.
Say the line, Warlock. Just Eldritch Blast spams.
Eldritch Blast. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, so your did we mention your favorite class? Or did I
Oh,
forget?
yeah, I did. I said it's sorcerer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Um, let's see. The multi-classing. I think one of the difficulties of multi-classing is balancing the um ability scores because you're always giving up something. You're also giving up certain class feats
Mm,
and some class feats they have you can only advance your ability scores or take a feat in certain levels, and you also miss out on that depending on how many levels you take
yeah.
for each class. So it's which ones would you say are effective multi classes, and which classes are powerful on their own?
Well, its shots are actually just powerful on their own. But you just need to reach that high level, epic level to actually realize that much of a power for
Yeah.
them to. Yeah, I noticed that monks and barbarians actually work, but it's a, it's a bit stretched out of a build. So yeah.
Really? Barbarians and monk. Okay.
But it's a bit of a stretch because you will need to balance the ability scores that you're gonna put in. Unlike for the one we have, like a sorcerer and a warlock, they're all based on charisma, so you don't really have to worry about that because they use the same attack modifier and ability modifier.
Mm-hmm.
What else? For Blade Singer, that also works. A wizard and a fighter.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like
Um,
imagine if like when extra attack would be nice. And then you also have action surge,
that's
which
true.
is
Yeah.
always helpful.
Oh, I'm sorry. Blade Singer is a
Wizard.
wizard and a fighter.
That's kind of tricky too, I guess. I mean, what would you there's the intelligence ability and then what would be the fighter's main? Would it be a dex or
Um,
strength?
Constitution
Like for attacks?
for
Because then
attacks. For fighter, they use strength for mainly for attacks, but they are versatile fighters, so they could have. You could also use dexterity for them, but only for selected weapons.
yeah, so if you are a wizard blade singer and a fighter, what route would you go? Dex or strength? Like what weapon would you use?
Probably I'm gonna use a one-hand sword. For a blade singer, wizard. More like a Gandalf.
Oh,
So that's gonna
interesting.
be a few levels on wizard and a few levels on fighter. But on the higher levels, you probably want to continue on the wizard.
Yeah. Wizards have a lot of really useful spells too.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
They have lots of utility spells that you could
Mm-hmm.
just play around with.
Speaking of utility, what about utility builds?
Mm,
What's your take on that? Which classes have
Probably
the best?
bards, if played well, is actually a very clutch on games.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Yeah, even though they are like a full support, but they do well on that role. They
Yes.
really do. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have Holter's other character is Galen's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Christina.
Okay.
Um, and Galen calls him Christina, but he likes to be called Chris because obviously he's a guy. But their mother wanted daughters, and she got
Okay.
several boys before she finally had Sophia, which is played by Harry on
I
Remnant
see.
as her sister. So Chris is a bard rogue, I think, and he is very effective with controlling the battlefield. So whenever the siblings go out, it's almost like he's always clutch with Bane and then counter spells, dispel magic. It's just one after the other, and then cure wounds. And he always thinks that he's not able to do a lot because he isn't able to do a lot of attacks. But
Mm-hmm.
really, without all those other things, we'd probably get a whole lot more damage from the enemies. Yeah, so bards really are really great characters. I mean, a great class for support.
Yeah, that's
And,
true.
and so is clerics. So are clerics.
Clerics are actually very good. They're support, but they could also be an attacker if you want. Yeah. They could tank damage. They could be on the front lines.
Yeah, and then at higher levels, clerics are also really, really strong.
I forgot spells for clerics. It's been a while since I actually played clerics. So yeah.
I gotcha.
But
I'm gonna
yeah.
I'll look for I have this app that Peter recommended. It's a spell app. Let's see if we could find cleric spells. Oh, 118. That's a lot of spells. Um we have gate, Mass Heal, True Resurrection, Astral Projection for level 9, Holy Aura. Holy Weapon is amazing.
Hollow
Also,
weapon is amazing. Yes.
what kind? Which one is it? Hmm. They just have a lot of really good spells. Freedom of movement, banishment. Even lower level spells are really good.
I mean, the thing is that the lower levels you could just upcast them. You could cast them on higher levels. So yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
just get more modifiers for a lower level spells. That's really good. Yeah. What else? We have
Mm.
bards. We have clerics.
I think rogues have really good utility as well.
Yeah,
If
but
like,
most rogues who plays are just want to be an assassin.
well, that's true, but I mean, there are also other builds, rogue builds that don't really go for the assassin. I think the assassin is too. I mean, it's predictable, and
Yeah.
like thief is good at higher levels when they break that barrier and can use spell scrolls and magical items and attune to them regardless of limits on class. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, with Emrys, I've been able to like do a lot of more utility, but maybe because I'm also half Hexblade. Well, not half, but part Hexblade. So there's
Yeah.
that.
On the playable that I play at, I never have a thief for class before, but I hear from other players that thief is really good, especially if the players is good. You could have those events set up
Mm-hmm.
because for one, I have this friend that his thief became a major major leader of a thieves guild, and basically what they do is they act as a pseudo police for a certain region that
Mm.
prevents adventurer from going out of line. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also Arcane Trickster, which I was thinking of respecting Emrys into just for the
Okay.
utility. Because the spells that Arcane Trickster has there's a lot of utility in it too. But I think on
Nice.
its own it's also strong as a if you just
Yeah.
go full Arcane Trickster.
I only knew one person who play Arcane Trickster, and that is Sam Regal from Regal Grove.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, he's trying to play that character in a very specific way.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying his best not to be the murder hobo of the group.
Speaking of murder hobo, um, is it like a common thing, or like have you ever played a character where you tried to do peaceful negotiations or um at least persuade enemies to resolve a conflict non-violently, or does it always end up, you know, let's just attack and let's just fight and get it over with.
I usually try, but it really depends on the table. Because I used to play on this table that I try so hard to get a diplomatic solution to the problem, and they just went and killed everyone, and just like, I just wasted my time on that. So yeah,
That is true. That is frustrating.
it's kind of frustrating that you're trying
Yeah.
so hard to have a peaceful resolution to a problem, and then you have this someone who's just trying to murder everyone.
And then there's also like because whenever murder hobos are mentioned, I my first thought is that they're the type who would just incite violence whenever they get the chance.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
NPCs are not excluded, not exempted. Could be anyone innocent, you know, if they so as much as just look at the character wrong or something. Yeah. But I don't think I've really met like full murder hobos on the server. I think at least people try most of the time to resolve
To be a
conflicts
murder robo.
peacefully.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Okay.
well, and well on earlier levels you see more of that because people want
Yeah,
to gain XP, and that's the
yeah.
main reason really. Um,
That's true.
they want to get to higher levels and get out of killing range.
Yeah.
So min maxing. Speaking of murder hobos, let's move to min maxing. Do you have
Okay.
characters that you built in this way? A min max
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Probably I only have one character, which I mean Max. That's how he is basically built to kill enemies from range. That's the only purpose of his fighting style.
So
Yeah.
which stat did you build up and which one did you sacrifice to create how?
Yeah. For how starting points for how I dump intelligence for how. I believe he started off with like 10 intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and then strength should be around 17 or 15. I forgot. Yeah. Oh no.
Is
So strength is
is it
15.
Dex? Team for
Uh,
strength and
Dex was 13, I believe.
mm,
I forgot what's the base stats for how.
mm,
Yeah. So was he was more on a strength side, but as the level goes along, I converted more into Dex type. So yeah, I take ASI and then just dump everything into Dexterity.
mm.
I never touched intelligence until I got the book for additional stats. That
Mm,
legendary book, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Those tomes.
Yeah, those tomes, yeah.
Those are helpful. Yeah,
Which on on a home campaign that could be just once in a lifetime fine. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That is true. Like in an actual game, you don't really get to collect all the books like you can
Yeah.
um on the server.
Yeah. When I
But
first
yeah,
saw it, I was thinking, wow, I get to have these legendary items, which I never had
yes,
before.
yes. I've heard how it's rare to even get any kind of legendary item on
Yeah.
an actual home game. That would be crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So min maxing. Hmm, I think I don't. I usually prefer to have at least just maybe one that's under 10 for my
Okay.
abilities. Mostly because I worry too much that I might have dumped. I might be too low on them. So at least a flat 20 roll is safe for me. So usually just one ability is under 10. Like it's probably an 8, and it's usually strength. Yeah, for me it's usually strength. But I don't
You
think I've
don't want
ever
strong characters?
no, I have like I my characters have been mostly charisma and dex. I don't know why. But it maybe because it's warlock, sorcerer, and rogue. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that Emrys is proficient and deception.
Yeah, and I've never used
I'm not.
deception. I
Why?
rarely
Why
use.
deception?
I don't know,
Why?
because when we started, remember when we started, Emrys is my very first character. And
Yeah.
when we made this, when I made the character sheet on D&D and Beyond, and I was looking at this this guide and their suggestions for proficiencies and skills and all that, and they mentioned deception because you want to be able to talk your way out of situations
That's true.
sometimes, and you have to lie. So I put that there, and I didn't really think about it because I have no experience beforehand, how it would work or when I would need it or if I would even need it. So
To
I
be
have
fair,
deception.
in a home game that would be very useful. But
Yeah.
yeah, the thing is that on the server that we play in, lying tends to have more
Consequences.
consequence rather than actually just being just a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I've used it, I think, less than 10 times. I don't know. I don't even recall if I ever rolled it. I think I did,
In a
but
home game, I'd
in
probably abuse
RPs.
it.
Yeah. In a home game, I would. But yeah, I was thinking when I respect Emrys, I'll take the deception and put it into I'll take the proficiency and deception and put it into insight. Emrys can lie, but Emrys cannot tell if somebody's lying to them. Because
Oh, the things that
my insight is +2, so
how is
it's
actually a very
shit.
proficient in insight too, but I never use it.
Oh yeah, like I think characters need to use insight more. And
Yeah.
we kind of just realized that when we get bamboozled on missions and nobody thought to check like how, is our
Yeah.
quest giver the big bad evil guy and we are being led into a trap.
No, remember that one time that we was sent out to a mission, and the vampire was actually the quest giver that we almost killed.
I think so.
Yeah. Uh, coming from home game, you don't usually get a vampire to give you a quest. So the main idea is you kill the vampire and just get on with your life. But when you got there, it was the vampire who actually requested for the help, and then there was other creatures that are manifesting in the area. So there's that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting things DMs come up with their games. So what else? Let's see. Favorite spells.
Favorite spells.
Cantrips.
Yeah, cantrips. Probably my favorite cantrips would be Mage Hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was expecting Eldritch Blast or Prestidigitation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because coming from a home game, Eldritch Blast is actually helpful, but only for combat. Unlike for Mage Hand, you can just use it for every scenarios if you want to.
That is true. Even with picking locks, making sure you're not
Yeah.
touching traps and all those other things. If you don't
Yeah.
have a
And
familiar, you could use
open the
Mage Hand.
door.
Yeah. What other cantrips?
What other cantrips?
I like Spare the Dying, but I never have it. I think somebody like I think it's a different class. I think. Oh, Warlock.
Spirit Dying is
Warlock.
for clerics, I believe.
Yeah. A sorcerer too. I like Booming Blade or Combat Cantrip.
I see. Okay.
And I think for Emrys has Minor Illusion, Eldritch Blast, and Blade Ward, which is so stupid. I don't know why I picked that, but when it's your first character and you see something and I think I just like the idea of not being resisting, I guess, damage
Hmm.
from slashing and piercing. But it never really occurred to me that it would take my action, so
Yeah.
that's all I'll be doing for that turn. Mm,
Actually, protection from evil and good is actually a good cantrip
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Now that I
Oh
think
wait,
about it,
it's a level 1 spell.
it
Protection from
is.
evil and good,
Oh,
yeah. But
is
it
that
is
the
a very
spell?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a level 1 spell and it is good. I have like several spell scrolls of protection from evil and good just because of the amount of undead and aberrations that the DMs throw on the server.
I see. Yeah. On a home game, probably I'll get Charm Person just abuse it. But
Bane and Bless as well are really good spells.
Bless is a good. Yeah, I agree that Bless is a good. Um, is that a
It's
cantrip?
it's a level 1 spell,
Oh, it's a one spell. Okay.
which is helpful if I take the magic initiate feat and you can choose one level 1 spell and then I think 3 or 2 cantrips, I forgot. Yeah, I
I
would
see.
pick
Okay.
Bless just to have that extra 1d4 to your attacks, and saving throws is amazing. But higher level spells. Fireball? You like
Fireball,
fireball?
probably. Yeah. Fireball, Meteor Swarm. Those I
Mm-mm.
like those epic spells.
Meteor swarm. Yeah, I agree.
What else?
Mm. Mass heal, pretty good. True polymorph. I've seen Peter
Ooh, yeah.
use true polymorph, and he's always turning into this dragon.
If I
It's
have
pretty
true
cool.
polymorph, probably I'm gonna abuse it on some
Yeah, yeah.
random creatures.
Mm, Foresight. Foresight is pretty good. Riz
I'm
uses
not really
foresight.
I don't really like Foresight that much.
Advantage, because then if you have elven accuracy and foresight, that would be like just advantage on every attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're a rogue, you get sneak attack. So it's like depending on who's running the table, yeah, you
Yeah.
get broken, yeah. And there's wish also.
Yeah.
Uh,
I once broke a game by using Wish.
how did that go?
Basically, if it's my first time trying to use Wish, and then I wish for a carnival to be present on where we are. Apparently, that's not how Wish works, and yeah, something happened to my party members. I forgot what happened to them, but because of my irresponsible use of Wish, the player quit the game.
Oh, oh no.
Because I know that Wish would be the strongest spell, but I did not know that you need to have a particular need to be particular with the words that you're gonna use for Wish,
Yeah,
unless it's gonna be backfire or something. Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
so that
Yeah.
happened.
And DMs can they do have some control over how wish happens also.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think see I also like so Peter tried Feeble Mind and on
Okay.
Galen on Galen And Galen's charisma based, so and because he's part warlock,
Did
he
it work?
couldn't use his his sword basically, the hexblade weapon, because he doesn't have strength. He uses
Mm-hmm.
charisma to carry the sword around. So yeah, but we were able to break it. Otherwise, it would have been a full month. Because he failed the save for feeble mind. So feeble mind is also good, but if you're like if you don't really rely on um charisma and intelligence, then you're probably good. Like
Yeah.
barbs will be fine, fighters will be fine.
Oh,
Gate
modify memory is actually
modify
gate's good.
memory. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
teleport.
teleport, yeah.
Okay. What else? Um,
See, what's next for your character? Like life after level 20, because How is level 20, right? And he's your
yes.
the only character that has reached level 20.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the problem for how at the moment is that we don't get much game for how because of how powerful they are. Um, Combat wise, it's just gonna be useless. So yeah. Probably more for how will be just additional story, additional background, add the add-ons to it. But as much as adventure, I don't really see that much anymore for how. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Are you thinking of retiring How or no?
No, I'd like how to be that person who just everyone keeps forgetting that the member of the guild that just keeps popping up whenever they need
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. The same for Emrys. I don't want to retire them just because they've reached level 20. I feel like there's
Yeah.
more that you can do even though you're not adventuring anymore. Like maybe buy ships, several houses, create your own guild, all that stuff.
There's so
So,
much I want to do with how, but
mm-hmm.
it's not allowed
Oh
by
yeah.
yeah.
So what would you
Because
do if it was allowed though? What would be your plans for how?
okay. Because how actually owns a castle, a farm, a ship, and an island. If that's correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, yeah. Um I think in part of a country because they want to save a whole country from a an evil witch. Wow, something that happened. Yeah. So yeah, how was actually just set for life. There's nothing much he should do about that.
He's
Yeah,
just planting. He's just taking care of his
planting.
plantation,
Yeah,
basically.
doing his herbs, taking care of the herbs, trying to make the business, you know, evolve into this corporation that reach out to far places, other countries, trade routes, things like that. But you can't. I
Yeah.
want that for how, yeah,
You probably can now. I'm sure you can. I mean, there's I know Vistasha has established his trading company. I think that
yeah. I think I
he has his
heard
yeah,
about that, but yeah,
he's got his own ship, and I think it's a merchant ship, and he offers services like I think transport services and all other goods, since he also I think makes certain uncommon or uncommon magic items as well. I
I
think that's
see.
what
Okay.
Emrys would want to do is make um, trade routes, but then they became a cook,
Oh,
and I did downtime to learn the cooking utensils, the tools, and I finished that, and then I did a disguise kit, And then I'm thinking of learning the tinkerer's tools. I think that's what Emrys is gonna do. It's just they're just gonna learn every language they could if they're allowed to, but I think there's a limit. And
Yeah,
then
there's a limit to it.
learn as many tools as well. And I think that's just Emrys's plan, and open up a
Yeah,
bakery in the middles.
yeah.
Mm.
On my head canon, I like how to be that person who just go from town to town that either give you drugs or just helps you, depending on what you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, one day you'll just hear this rumor about a person who travels from town to town that sells you herbs, just different kinds of herbs. Yeah.
That would be funny. That would be funny. Yeah, I think Emrys has proficiency in herbalism,
Hmm.
alchemy, and poison. I think poisoner's kit, something like that, and
Okay.
then cooking utensils and a disguise kit, because I wanted him to like be able to cook delicious poisons and
Okay.
and also have the antidote in case if you sell it,
Yeah,
and you can also sell the antidote, and then
that's business.
have a disguise, so you never, you could always blend in with the crowd when you travel, like a traveling merchant
Yeah.
on the side. Yeah, those things, I don't know if the server would allow those, but I don't think so. Yeah.
We need to start a home game.
Yeah, we
I
do.
really want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just need players, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. So home games versus West March games.
Home game. I really like home games. Because especially if your DM is a good DM or just okay to roll with whatever you have as long as it's logical and there's a reason for something to be in that where. Yeah. Home game would be the best way because you will be given chance to actually explore things like your backstory, the world, the lore.
What about cons to home games?
The cons for home game is that you are dependent on the players and the DM's availability because they will not be always be available. Unlike for like a Miss March that you can just pick up anybody and just roll with it.
Yeah. So compared to West March, I think West March, you're able to find games relatively
Yeah,
easier, I guess. And then, you could just hop in any day you're free and group up with random people,
people. Yeah,
and then just hope that a DM would pick you guys up, and then you do a one shot game. But I think
yep,
the cons is that, story wise, it's a capsule by capsule
yeah.
per game, so
It's that's true.
yeah, not a lot of growth character wise, and then you don't get to really bond with your other teammates on a regular
Mhm.
basis. So there's that.
Yeah, the thing about home game is that you can build relationship with other players or other characters that you have experienced this journey with them. You affected their lives in game. They affected yours. So basically, yeah, you could build relationships that like a real life relationship.
And you also like affect the world more definitely with home
Yeah,
games.
that's true.
Yeah, because
Well,
West
depends
March,
on
yeah.
um of how much did you do about the world because if you're an adventurer which you only like go around with two towns, three towns in the world, not much of an effect in that. But you know, if you went on
Yeah.
higher level, which you fight gods, demons, you know, but those sort of things. Yeah. there will be an impact to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Then it's like it's different with West March, since there's just so many players, you need to have some sort of control with the lore of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah, just to maintain like consistency also.
that's true.
And then let's see what else. So D&D during the pandemic. Did it really change how you play D&D?
Not
Pre-pandemic,
not
during the pandemic.
I don't
No.
know. Not much. It's just a bit harder in my case because um workload went up during the pandemic, especially for freelancers like me. So there's that.
Yeah, that's true. It's been crazy with work.
Yeah.
Um
For some reason, I don't know. People
are working more.
works working more during the pandemic rather than the actual
Yeah.
regular back in the regular times.
Yeah, that is true. So it's unfortunate, but yeah. I guess for me it's the same. I've been playing D&D online, so there's not really a change with the setup, I guess, but more of the time because of work as well. So if you could bring an item or you could have a feat in real life from D&D, what item would that be?
What item would it be?
Yeah. Magical, uncommon, or common, whatever. Whatever item.
I don't know. Probably any item that would allow me to teleport.
Oh. There's a Cape of Mountbank. Mountbank, is it? Like, I think, yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, it's the non-attunement. It's only once a day though, but it's non-attunement and allows you to use Dimension Door or cast
Oh, but
Dimension Door. Yeah,
Dimension Door is just a short range though.
yeah, well, 500 feet. But yeah,
Yeah.
teleport is true. What about the Helm of Teleportation?
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Because you can teleport anywhere you have whatever you've been to. So
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one. I
yeah.
think I would like. I'm not sure if I would like the invisibility cloak or Terrorlie.
Why?
Like,
Why? Why that?
I don't know. Like, I would like to be able to go shop. I don't know. I guess shop or just not. I don't like. I don't
What
like
shop and
interacting.
then
I don't like interacting with people.
Oh, okay, okay.
So being invisible is always helpful.
Okay.
And
So no shenanigans, just
no
to avoid
shenanigans. Just to avoid
just
interaction.
social contact. Yeah.
Yeah. There's that. But Terrorlie is actually, I like Terrorlie because of the true sight ability, but there's really nothing in real life that needs that. I just like the idea of a talking sword, and that allows me to
Okay.
travel because I like the transport via plants feature
Mm-hmm.
that the sword has. You could travel via transport via plants. You just have a tree here and come out of another tree somewhere else. So it's kind of like teleport, just a little limited. But yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Bag of holding. Of course,
Yeah,
bag of
bag of
holding.
holding would be amazing.
Yeah. I can have a Louis Vuitton bag of holding. Because I mean, if you're gonna get like a magical item, you might as well go for luxury bags, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, it's gonna be a customized bag of holding.
Yeah. That would be something. If you can imagine like brands being able to sell magical items, that would be crazy. Magical item, Louis Vuitton bag of holding.
Yeah.
Mm,
Bag of holding. What else? Um, broom of flying, but
yeah.
that might not went well for most people.
Or winged boots also work. the same
Wearing
way.
boots, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's much better than broom flying.
There's the cloak of the manta ray is also good. You just want to go visit underwater and all that.
The cloak of bats, I believe. That's the
Yeah.
one that turns into a bat. Yeah.
There's so many items, but I think yeah. What else? Since there's not really magic in the real world, it's more utility items that
Yeah.
are good. Yeah.
You don't want any like attack weapons or attack items.
I guess.
I mean, you don't really want to. You don't want to be destructive or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you don't want to. Maybe the books. No, I'd like to be a little more dexterous.
The tomes. Yeah, probably the tomes.
Yeah. The tomes.
Yep.
Maybe
I don't
have
know.
like have a
Is it worth
six-pack.
it though? It's just
Like get a little stronger. Being able to open
can
my,
drink-
my jar.
you can read it once in every century, so you can just pass it down on every century.
Yeah. An heirloom.
Yeah.
So for in real life, if you could stat yourself. Yeah, I've seen that going around. Like people statting themselves in real life.
I stat myself. Yeah, I hate that. There's a group. They just
I've seen that. Like this is the new selfie. It's like a selfie. Like
Oh, yeah.
rate my selfie, something like that. That's how it looked to me. Yeah.
yeah. So how would you rate or
How would I
stat
stat
yourself?
myself? Oh man, I feel like strength is how low can you go?
I don't know.
It's
7?
probably yeah, I'm probably at a 7. I'm a 7 at strength. I don't know. Probably more on int. It's just hard to like not have
Yeah.
a comparison table, but I'm probably low strength.
So more
Decent
damn stat
int.
than actually. So you're basically the min maxer.
Yeah. Probably
Yeah.
decent intelligence, decent I don't know how decent my wisdom is, but I'd say a little, yeah. And then dexterity, not so much. I can still catch a ball.
But
6 out of the 10 times it's thrown. But the 4 other times it'll probably hit me in the spot I don't want it to hit me. Yeah. What else? Charisma is okay. I can still convince people, do things for me. Yeah, I have the Chihuahua effect.
oh, that's great.
Yeah. What about you?
Me, probably the strength is probably like 8. Um, I'm still dexterous, so about probably 11. Uh, I'm not sure about constitution, so I'm not sure
Oh,
about
yeah,
that.
forgot about Constitution. I get sick a lot, so I'll probably peg it at 12. Decent, because I'm still up.
Okay, so I'll put mine as 13. So
Yeah.
just pretty there. Intelligence pretty decent, so probably 12. Wisdom, I don't know. I'm still alive. I'm not that. I'm not in danger to anybody else, so I'll put it like 11. Charisma should be around 5 or so.
That's super low. It doesn't
Yeah,
even-
well, I tend to avoid everybody else, so there's that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen those posts on the same
Yeah.
group, I think. It's funny at first, and then it's like, okay, this is getting annoying.
The thing is that the more they get annoyed, the more creative they are.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a very subtle way to insult each other.
Yeah. It's like roast me,
Yeah,
but D&D.
that's true. That's true.
Hmm. Okay. So I think
Well said.
we did cover a lot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
have
a lot.
yeah. Yeah, I think we covered a lot of the items that we wanted to cover.
Uh,
So, anything else we'd like to add, or what would we like to discuss on the next episode?
I'm not sure. Do we have like a? I'm not really sure what to talk about in the next episode.
Well, it's
Usually we
because
have these things ready. Yeah.
yeah, we do, but then we got carried away with D&D, and then
Yeah.
there's always something to talk about with D&D. Well, we could talk
Yeah.
about
We could
other
other
things too.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's anime. We could always cover a show, watch a show, and talk about you know what we think about the show,
Sure.
and
We
we
can
could
do
do
that.
that, and maybe rate or watch different shows and compare notes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just an episode. Like we can discuss one episode of a show and follow it
We're gonna
along.
watch like old shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and
Oh
just
my
rate it.
god, I have
Yeah.
not seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh
I'm
no!
not. I
Why?
think I've only seen one
Why?
or two episodes. I don't know. It was probably at that point where I have where I have to choose between anime and other items, and I
Oh,
probably
okay.
chose anime. Or I just didn't have time, which is probably
Sure.
likely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what to talk about next week or next time, but yeah.
We'll have a mystery topic for the
Next.
next episode.
Fine.
We'll have we'll
Next
come up with a
episode.
list, and then we'll roll the dice, and we'll see
That's great. Yeah.
which item or which topic we'd be discussing for next episode.
Yeah. Our lives are being taken over by dice.
Yes. Yes.
Okay then. Yeah. I guess that's it for this episode.
Let's see. Mm-hmm. You want to do the outro or? Okay, so we're wrapping up this episode, and next week we will have our mystery topic. We'll have time to roll the dice, come up with our list, roll the dice, and let fate decide. Yeah. So we would like to thank today's sponsors. I'll let you go with your sponsors first.
Yeah, I'd like to thank myself for my equipments and other stuff. I'm self sponsored at the moment. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, same with me. I'd like to thank
Oh yeah. By the way, we're trying in the process of setting up our Patreon. So if you'd like to um donate to that, please do.
yeah, stay tuned
Yeah.
for the details for Patreon's details. And then we're also setting up a Facebook page, I think. Yeah. And yeah, sponsors I have Swiss Miss hot chocolate and Eggo's Eggo waffles
Okay.
for breakfast. And that's just me. That's all I have for my sponsor today. Thank you for keeping my belly full during this whole podcast.
That's great.
Yeah, that's all we have for today. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And join us again next week for another episode of Anuni.
Bye.
And with that, we will leave you in awkward silence.